The morning sun painted the Seoul skyline in golden colors when Detective Kim Tae-ho first saw the ships. He was standing outside the coffee shop on Gangnam Street, checking his phone for updates on a jewelry store robbery case. The coffee was still hot in his hands when a shadow fell across the entire city. At first, he thought it was just a very large cloud. But clouds do not have sharp edges. Clouds do not shine with silver metal. And clouds definitely do not make the ground shake when they move. Tae-ho dropped his coffee cup. The brown liquid splashed across his black shoes, but he did not notice. His eyes were fixed on the sky above Seoul. The ship was enormous. It stretched from one end of the city to the other, blocking out the sun like a metal roof over the world. More ships appeared in the distance, smaller ones, but still bigger than any airplane Tae-ho had ever seen. They moved without sound, floating through the air like ghosts made of steel and light. People on the street began to point and scream. Cars stopped in the middle of the road. Drivers got out and stood with their doors open, staring up at the impossible sight above them. The alien ships were beautiful in a terrifying way. Their hulls were smooth and perfect, covered in patterns that seemed to shift and change in the light. Blue and green energy flowed across their surfaces like water, creating designs that hurt to look at for too long. Tae-ho reached for his radio with shaking hands. "This is Detective Kim Tae-ho. We have a situation in Gangnam District. Multiple unknown aircraft in the sky. Request immediate backup." The radio crackled with static. Then came the voice of his captain, Park Jung-soo. "Tae-ho, we are getting reports from all over the city. These things are everywhere. Military is being called in. Stay where you are and keep people calm. Keep people calm." Tae-ho looked around at the chaos on the street. A woman was crying while holding her baby. Old man was praying on his knees. Two teenagers were taking pictures with their phones, laughing like it was all some kind of joke. The first alien ship landed in the middle of Yoido Park. It came down slowly, like a leaf falling from a tree. The grass around it turned brown and died as the ship touched the ground. Steam rose from the earth where the metal hull made contact. More ships landed across the city. Each one was different in size and shape, but all shared the same strange beauty. It looked like they were grown rather than built, with curves and angles that seemed to follow no human logic. The military arrived within an hour. Tanks rolled down the streets, their treads leaving marks on the asphalt. Helicopters filled the sky, circling the alien ships like angry wasps around a nest. Fighter jets screamed overhead, their engines drowning out the sound of sirens and screaming. Tae-ho watched from behind a police barrier. The first soldiers approached the landed ship in Yoido Park. They moved carefully, weapons ready, but they looked small and weak compared to the massive alien vessel. The ship's hull began to glow. A door appeared where none had been before, opening like a flower blooming in fast motion. Light spilled out from inside, bright and blue and nothing like any light Tae-ho had ever seen. The first alien stepped out. It was tall, much taller than any human. Its body was covered in what looked like black armor, but the armor moved and shifted like it was alive. 4 arms hung at its sides, each ending in hands that had too many fingers. Its head was elongated, with large eyes that reflected the light, like mirrors. But what made Tae-ho's blood run cold was the shimmer around the creature. The air around the alien bent and twisted, creating a bubble of distorted space. It looked like looking at something underwater, waves of energy flowing around the being like invisible fire. More aliens emerged from the ship. Each one was surrounded by the same strange shimmer. They moved with purpose, spreading out across the park in formation. Their weapons were unlike anything in human armies, shaped like crystals that hummed with contained energy. The military commander gave the order to fire. The first tank shell struck the lead alien directly in the chest. There was a flash of light, and the shell simply disappeared. It did not bounce off, did not explode. It just stopped existing the moment it touched the shimmer around the alien. The alien did not even slow down. More shells followed. Bullets from machine guns, rockets from helicopters. All of them met the same fate the moment any weapon touched the energy field around the aliens. It vanished like smoke in the wind. The aliens raised their crystal weapons and fired back. The tank that had shot first simply melted. The metal turned to liquid and poured onto the ground like silver water. The crew had no time to scream. One moment they were there, the next they were gone. Helicopter after helicopter fell from the sky, their engines failing the moment the alien weapons touched them. Fighter jets crashed into buildings, their pilots dead before they knew what hit them. In less than 10 minutes, the entire military response was destroyed. The aliens moved to the city like they owned it. Their energy shields made them untouchable. Human weapons were useless against them. Every bullet, every bomb, every desperate attempt to fight back failed against their perfect defenses. Taeho found himself running with the crowd, his police training forgotten in the face of absolute terror. Behind him, the aliens continued their advance. They were not trying to kill everyone. They were capturing people, pointing their weapons at fleeing civilians, and somehow making them freeze in place. The detective ducked into an alley and pressed himself against the wall. His heart was beating so fast, he thought it might burst. Through the gap between buildings, he could see one of the alien ships hovering above the city center. More ships were landing, dozens of them. The invasion was just beginning as night fell over Seoul. The city burned in strange colors. The aliens had taken control of all major buildings and roads. Their shields made them gods among men, untouchable and unstoppable. Taeho whispered a prayer to any god who might be listening. The human race was facing extinction, and they had no way to fight back. 3 days had passed since the aliens took Seoul. Detective Kim Taeho sat in the dark corner of Mapo police station, counting the bullets in his service pistol for the 10th time. 15 rounds. That was all he had left. The police station had become a shelter for survivors. 23 people were hiding in the building, including old Mrs. Cho from the flower shop, 2 teenagers named Hansol and Ji-woo, and Professor Lee Biora from Seoul National University. Biora was different from the others. While everyone else cried or prayed or stared at nothing, she watched the aliens through the broken windows. She had been taking notes in a small notebook, writing down everything she observed about the invaders. They patrol in groups of 3. She whispered to Taeho. Always 3, and they come by this street every 2 hours, like clockwork. Taeho nodded. He had noticed the same thing. The aliens were methodical. They moved through the city in patterns, collecting people from buildings and loading them onto their ships. Nobody knew what happened to the people who were taken. The detective had tried to radio for help many times, but all channels were either dead or filled with screaming. The government had gone silent. The military was destroyed. Seoul was now an alien city. "We need to get out of here," said Park Min-soo, a young office worker who had been trapped in the building when the invasion started. "They will find us eventually." "And go where?" asked Taeho. "The whole city is crawling with them, and even if we could run, their shields make them impossible to fight." Biora looked up from her notebook. "I have been thinking about those shields. The way they work is very strange. They stop our biggest weapons, but I noticed something odd yesterday." She pointed to the window. When that alien walked past fountain, a small stone fell from the building above. It hit the shield and bounced off. But the stone was moving very slowly when it fell. Taeho frowned. "What does that mean?" Think their shields are designed to stop fast-moving objects, high-energy weapons? Okay, but maybe they are not perfect against everything. Before Taeho could ask more questions, young Jiwoo ran to the window. They are coming again. 3 of them, just like before. Everyone in the station went quiet. Through the broken glass, they could see the aliens walking down the street. Their black armor gleamed in the afternoon sun, and the shimmer around their bodies made the air dance like heat waves. The aliens stopped in front of the police station. One of them turned its head toward the building. Its large eyes seemed to look right through the walls. "They know we're here," whispered Hansel. The lead alien raised its crystal weapon. Tana, the weapon began to glow with the same blue light they had seen during the invasion. The alien was preparing to melt through the wall. "We have to run," said Minsu. Now, they all started moving toward the back exit. Teo grabbed Biora's arm to help her up, but she was still staring at the aliens through the window. "Professor, we need to go," he said. "Wait," she whispered. "Look at the one on the left. Its shield is flickering." Teo looked. She was right. The shimmer around the third alien was not steady like the others. It pulsed and wavered like a broken television screen. "Maybe its equipment is damaged," Biora said. "This could be our chance to learn something." "Learn something?" Keiho stared at her. "Professor, we need to escape, not study them." But it was too late to escape. The front door of the police station exploded inward. The metal door turned to liquid and flowed across the floor like water. The aliens stepped through the opening, their weapons ready. The survivors scattered. Some ran toward the back exit. Others hid behind desks and filing cabinets. Old Mrs. Cho fainted and fell to the floor. Tae-Ho found himself separated from the group. He was alone in the evidence room, holding his pistol with shaking hands. Through the doorway, he could see one of the aliens searching the main office. The alien was tall and terrifying. His 4 arms moved independently, checking behind furniture and in corners. Its weapon hummed with deadly energy. Tai-Ho knew he should run. The pistol in his hands was useless against the alien's shield, but his legs would not move. He was frozen with fear. The alien entered the evidence room, saw Tai-Ho immediately. The detective raised his pistol anyway, knowing it would not help. The alien raised its weapon. The crystal began to glow. Tai-Ho stumbled backward, trying to get away. His foot caught on a box of evidence, and he fell hard against the wall. Hess. Finger squeezed the trigger by accident. The pistol fired. The 9mm bullet flew across the room. Tai-Ho expected it to disappear like all the other weapons had during the invasion. He expected the alien to keep coming, untouched and unstoppable. Instead, the alien screamed. It was a horrible sound, like metal tearing and wind howling. The alien dropped its weapon and clutched at its shoulder. Dark purple blood poured between its fingers. The bullet had gone through the shield. It had gone through the shield, like the shield was not even there. Tai-Ho stared in shock. The alien was hurt. It was bleeding. Its perfect defense had failed. The alien looked at him with its mirror eyes. For a moment, neither of them moved. The alien tried to pick up its weapon with its good arm. Tai-Ho fired again. This time, it was not an accident. The bullet hit the alien in the chest. More purple blood sprayed across the wall. The alien took 1 step forward, then fell to its knees. The third shot hit it in the head. The alien collapsed and did not move again. Tai-Ho stood over the body, his pistol still smoking. He could not believe what had just happened. Simple. Police weapon had killed one of the invaders. Biora appeared in the doorway. She had seen everything. Her eyes were wide with amazement. "The shield," she whispered. "It did not stop the bullets." "But how?" Tai-Ho asked. "The tanks, the missiles, everything else just disappeared." Biora knelt beside the alien body. She examined the wounds carefully. The bullets went through at normal speed, not fast like artillery shells or energy weapons. Maybe the shields are calibrated wrong. She looked up at Teho with excitement in her eyes. Maybe we found their weakness. Outside, they could hear the other two aliens calling for their fallen companion. Soon they would come looking. But for the first time in 3 days, Teho felt something besides fear. He felt hope the aliens could be killed. Their perfect shields were not perfect after all. Humanity had a chance to fight back. Professor Libora had not slept for 18 hours. She sat on the floor of the police station, surrounded by papers, drawings, and the dead alien's equipment. The alien's body lay covered in the corner. Its purple blood, now dried and black, Teho watched her work. The professor had been studying the alien's shield device since they killed it. She had taken the device apart, piece by piece, examining each component with a magnifying glass from the evidence room. The shield creates a field of energy around the wearer, she explained to the group of survivors. But it is not designed to stop everything. It has very specific settings. Han Sol, one of the teenagers, raised his hand. What kind of settings? Biora held up a small crystal from inside the shield device. This crystal is programmed to detect incoming threats. It measures speed, energy level, and mass on something. Dangerous approaches. The shield activates. She pointed to her notebook, which was filled with numbers and equations. The shield stops anything moving faster than 800 meters per second. It also stops anything with high energy signatures like lasers or plasma weapons. But bullets from pistols only travel at about 350 meters per second, Teho said. Half the speed limit. Exactly, Biora smiled. The aliens never expected to face such slow projectiles. In their experience, all weapons are either very fast or very powerful. They never encountered simple gunpowder weapons. Old Mrs. Cho, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. So, our old guns work better than new ones. In this case, yes, Biora nodded. The slower the bullet, the better chance it has of getting through their shields. Park Min-soo looked confused. But why would they design shields that way? It seems like a big mistake. Biora picked up another piece of the alien technology. Think about it from their perspective. They have been conquering advanced civilizations for hundreds of years. Every species they fought had moved beyond primitive weapons. They faced energy cannons, particle beams, quantum missiles. No one has used bullets in their wars for centuries. She gestured to Teho's pistol. To them, our weapons are like stone axes. They are so old and simple that their computers do not even recognize them as threats. The implications were staggering. Humanity's greatest weakness had become their greatest strength. All other species had advanced beyond gunpowder. Humans still used bullets. The aliens had prepared for everything except the one thing they thought was impossible. We need to tell people, said Ji-woo, the other teenager. Everyone needs to know that guns can kill these things. But how? Asked Min-soo. The radios are dead. The phones do not work. The internet is down. Stood up and walked to the window. The city was still burning in the distance. Alien ships moved through the sky like metal birds of prey. But now he looked at them differently. They were not gods. They were not invincible. They were just aliens with flawed technology. Start small, he said. We find other survivors. We share what we learned. Word will spread. Biora was already making plans. We need to find more weapons. Police stations, military bases, gun shops, anything that fires bullets. What about hunting rifles? Asked Mrs. Cho. My late husband had many guns for hunting deer. Perfect, Biora said. Hunting rifles are even better. They fire larger bullets at slower speeds than military weapons. Teho felt a strange excitement building in his chest. For 3 days, humanity had been helpless. They had watched their strongest weapons fail against alien shields, but now they knew the truth. The aliens were not unbeatable. They were just unprepared. There is more, Biora continued. I studied their patrol patterns. They move in groups of 3 because they think they are invincible. T, do not take cover. They do not watch for ambushes. They walk in straight lines because they believe nothing can hurt them. She pulled out a map of Seoul. If we can organize just a few groups with guns, we can start hitting their patrols. Each group we kill is 3 fewer aliens in the city. Hans looked worried. But what happens when they figure out what we are doing? They will change their tactics. Then we change ours, Taeho said. But right now, we have the advantage of surprise. They do not know we can hurt them. Detective began forming a plan. Professor, you take Mrs. Cho and find her husband's hunting rifles. Minsu, you come with me to the police station on the next street. They should have weapons there. What about us? Asked Ji-woo. You, to spread the word, Taeho said. Find other survivors. Tell them what we learned. But be careful. Do not let the aliens hear you. Stay prepared to leave. Biora made one more discovery. She had been examining the aliens' communication device, trying to understand how it worked. Suddenly, voices came through the device. Alien voices, speaking in their strange language. They're talking to each other. She whispered, I think this is like a radio. The voices sounded urgent. Even though they could not understand the words, the tone was clear. The aliens were worried about something. Maybe they found the body, Taeho suggested. Biora listened more carefully. There are more voices now. They are calling for help. I think they are reporting that one of their soldiers is missing. This was bad news. If the aliens knew one of their own was dead, they would start looking for the killers. But it was also good news. It meant they were not as confident as they seemed. We need to move fast, Taeho said, before they changed their security. The group split up as planned. Taeho and Minso headed for the police station. Biora and Mrs. Cho went to find the hunting rifles. The teenagers disappeared into the city to find other survivors. As Taeho walked through the empty streets, he felt something he had not felt since the invasion began. Hope, real hope. The aliens had made a mistake. They had underestimated humanity. Soon, the hunters would become the hunted. The aliens thought they had perfect shields. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The age of human resistance was about to begin. 1 week had passed since the discovery at the police station. The news had spread through Seoul like wildfire. Survivors whispered the secret to each other in dark basements and abandoned buildings. Bullets could kill the aliens. The shields were not perfect. Detective Kim Taeho now led a group of 30 fighters. They had weapons from 3 police stations, 2 military outposts, and a sporting goods store. Everyone carried something that fired bullets: pistols, rifles, shotguns, even an old revolver that belonged to a retired soldier. The aliens had no idea what was happening to them. Their patrols had been disappearing one by one. 3 aliens would leave their base, and only their empty armor would be found hours later. The invaders were confused and frightened. They had never lost soldiers. 2 primitive weapons before Taeho crouched behind a burned-out car, watching an alien patrol walk down Gangnam Street. The 3 aliens moved in their usual formation, confident and careless. They did not look around corners. They did not check rooftops. They walked in straight lines like they were taking a peaceful stroll. Member, Taeho whispered into his radio. Wait for my signal. Aim for the body, not the head. And keep firing until they stop moving. His team was positioned around the street. Pora was on a rooftop with a hunting rifle. Minsu hid in an alley with a shotgun. Mrs. Cho sat in a second-floor window with her late husband's deer rifle. The old woman had become one of their best shots. The aliens walked closer. Their shields shimmered in the afternoon sun. Their crystal weapons hummed with deadly energy. But now Tejo knew the truth. The shields were useless against bullets. The weapons were powerful, but slow to aim. Now, Tejo said into his radio. The attack came from all sides. Bora fired first, her bullet punching through the lead alien's shield and into its chest. The alien screamed and stumbled backward, purple blood spraying from the wound. Mrs. Cho fired next. Her rifle was old but accurate. The bullet hit the second alien in the shoulder, spinning it around. The alien tried to raise his weapon, but another bullet from Minsu's shotgun knocked it down. The third alien finally realized they were under attack. It raised its crystal weapon toward Bjor's position on the rooftop, but Tejo was already moving. He ran from behind the car and fired his pistol 3 times. All 3 bullets hit the alien in the back. It fell forward and did not get up. The entire fight lasted less than 30 seconds. 3 more aliens were dead, and the humans had not lost anyone. Collect their weapons, Tejo ordered, and their communicators. Bjora wants to study them. They had learned to move fast after each attack. The aliens would send search parties to look for missing patrols. But the search parties were also vulnerable to bullets. As his team collected the alien equipment, Tejo felt a grim satisfaction. Each dead alien was revenge for the humans who had been captured. Each successful ambush was proof that the invaders were not gods. His radio crackled. It was Choi Minho, a former Special Forces soldier who led another resistance group on the south side of the city. "Ho, we hit a patrol near the river, 4 aliens down. But we saw something interesting." "What did you see?" "They are changing their tactics. The patrol had 6 aliens instead of 3. And they were watching the rooftops." This was bad news. The aliens were learning. They were adapting to the human attacks. "Any casualties on your end?" Tejo asked. "1 wounded. Aliens are shooting faster now. I think they are getting scared." Ko smiled grimly. "Good. Let them be scared." For the first time since the invasion, the aliens were the ones who were afraid. That evening, the resistance leaders met in an abandoned subway station. There were 12 groups now, scattered across the city. Each group had between 20 and 50 fighters. All of them were armed with bullet-firing weapons. Song Hae-won, a former police chief, had become the overall commander. She was older than Tejo, with gray hair and sharp eyes. She had lost her entire family in the invasion, and her hatred for the aliens burned like a cold fire. "We have killed over 200 aliens in the past week," she reported. "They are adapting, larger patrols, better tactics, more caution." Bjora raised her hand. "I have been listening to their communications. They are calling for reinforcements from other planets. More ships are coming." The room went quiet. More ships meant more aliens. The resistance was growing stronger, but so was the enemy. "How long do we have?" asked Minho. "Maybe 3 days," Bjora said. "The messages are not clear, but I think a large fleet is approaching Earth." Hae-won stood up. "Then we need to hit them harder. We cannot let them regroup." She pointed to a map of Seoul. "The aliens have 3 main bases. 1 at the airport, 1 at the port, and 1 in the city center. If we can coordinate attacks on all 3 at the same time, we might be able to cripple their operations." Tejo studied the map. "The airport base is the largest. It will be heavily defended." "That is where I will take my group," Hae-won said. "You take the port, Minho. Tejo, you handled the city center." It was a dangerous plan. The bases would have many more aliens than the street patrols, but it was also their best chance to strike a real blow against the invaders. "What about weapons?" asked one of the other leaders. We are running low on ammunition. Mrs. Cho spoke up from the corner. My nephew owns a gun shop in Idawan. He has boxes of bullets in his basement. The military base in Yongsan should have more, added a young soldier named Lee Kongman, if we can get inside. They spent the rest of the night planning 3 simultaneous attacks on the alien bases. It would be the largest operation since the resistance began. As the meeting ended, Taeho felt both excitement and fear. They were about to find out if bullets could win a war against an alien empire. The counterattack was about to begin in earnest. Part 4. The counterattack. 1 week had passed since the discovery at the police station. The news had spread through Seoul like wildfire. Survivors whispered the secret to each other in dark basements and abandoned buildings. Bullets could kill the aliens. The shields were not perfect. Detective Kim Taeho now led a group of 30 fighters. They had weapons from 3 police stations, 2 military outposts, and a sporting goods store. Everyone carried something that fired bullets: pistols, rifles, shotguns, even an old revolver that belonged to a retired soldier. The aliens had no idea what was happening to them. Their patrols had been disappearing one by one. 3 aliens would leave their base, and only their empty armor would be found hours later. The invaders were confused and frightened. They had never lost soldiers. 2 primitive weapons before Taeho crouched behind a burned-out car, watching an alien patrol walk down Gangnam Street. The 3 aliens moved in their usual formation, confident and careless. They did not look around corners. They did not check rooftops. They walked in straight lines like they were taking a peaceful stroll. Member, Taeho whispered into his radio. Wait for my signal. Aim for the body, not the head. Okay? And keep firing until they stop moving. Okay? His team was positioned around the street. Pora was on a rooftop with a hunting rifle. Minsu hid in an alley with a shotgun. Mrs. Cho sat in a second-floor window with her late husband's deer rifle. The old woman had become one of their best shots. The aliens walked closer. Their shields shimmered in the afternoon sun. Their crystal weapons hummed with deadly energy. But now Taeho knew the truth. The shields were useless against bullets. The weapons were powerful but slow to aim. Now, Taeho said into his radio. The attack came from all sides. Bora fired first, her bullet punching through the lead alien's shield and into its chest. The alien screamed and stumbled backward, purple blood spraying from the wound. Mrs. Cho fired next. Her rifle was old but accurate. The bullet hit the second alien in the shoulder, spinning it around. The alien tried to raise his weapon, but another bullet from Minsu's shotgun knocked it down. The third alien finally realized they were under attack. It raised its crystal weapon toward Bjor's position on the rooftop, but Taeho was already moving. He ran from behind the car and fired his pistol 3 times. All 3 bullets hit the alien in the back. It fell forward and did not get up. The entire fight lasted less than 30 seconds. 3 more aliens were dead, and the humans had not lost anyone. Collect their weapons, Taeho ordered, and their communicators. Bjora wants to study them. They had learned to move fast after each attack. The aliens would send search parties to look for missing patrols, but the search parties were also vulnerable to bullets. As his team collected the alien equipment, Taeho felt a grim satisfaction. Each dead alien was revenge for the humans who had been captured. Each successful ambush was proof that the invaders were not gods. His radio crackled. It was Choi Min-ho, a former Special Forces soldier who led another resistance group on the south side of the city. Taeho, we hit a patrol near the river. It's 4 aliens down, but we saw something interesting. What did you see? They are changing their tactics. The patrol had 6 aliens instead of 3, and they were watching the rooftops. This was bad news. The aliens were learning. They were adapting to the human attacks. Any casualties on your end? Teho asked. One wounded. The aliens are shooting faster now. I think they are getting scared. Teho smiled grimly. Good. Let them be scared. For the first time since the invasion, the aliens were the ones who were afraid. The attack began at dawn. Detective Kim Teho crouched on the roof of a department store, looking down at the alien base in the city center. The base was built inside what used to be Seoul City Hall. Strange blue lights glowed from every window, and alien ships floated above the building like metal clouds. His radio whispered with reports from the other teams. Song Hae-won was in position at the airport. Kae-shu Min-ho had surrounded the port base. 300 human fighters were about to attack the alien strongholds at the same time. All teams ready, came Hae-won's voice through the radio. Remember, aim low and keep moving. Okay. Do not let them target you. Teho checked his weapons one. Last time, he carried his police pistol, a hunting rifle, and a shotgun taken from a dead alien patrol. Around him, 30 other fighters waited for the signal. Professor Lee Biora was with his group, carrying a rifle and a bag full of alien communication devices. She had been studying the aliens' language and could understand some of their words. I'm very nervous, she whispered, listening to one of the devices. They keep asking their home fleet for orders. Mrs. Cho was on the next rooftop with her deer rifle. The old woman had become famous among the resistance fighters. She had killed more aliens than anyone else, and she never missed a shot. Beginning attack now. K1's voice crackled through the radio. Teho raised his rifle and aimed at an alien guard near the building's entrance. The alien stood perfectly still, its shield shimmering around its body. It had no idea that death was coming. Teho fired. The bullet punched through the alien's shield and into its chest. The alien fell backward, its crystal weapon clattering on the ground. That was the signal for chaos. Gunfire erupted from every rooftop and window around the city hall. Dozens of bullets flew through the air, all aimed at the alien defenders. The aliens' shields flickered and failed as simple lead projectiles found their targets. The aliens tried to fight back, but they were not prepared for this kind of attack. Their crystal weapons were powerful, but took time to charge. Human bullets were fast and came from everywhere. Biora listened to the alien communications as the battle raged. They are calling for help, she shouted over the gunfire, but the other bases are also under attack. From the radio came the sounds of fighting at the airport and port. Explosions echoed across the city as human fighters destroyed alien equipment with bullets and grenades. An alien ship above the city hall began to descend, trying to help the ground forces, but Mrs. Cho was ready. She aimed her rifle at one of the ship's engines and fired 3 times. The engine sparked and caught fire. The ship spun out of control and crashed into the street below, its metal hull crumpling like paper. The ship is down, Mrs. Cho called out calmly, as if she had just shot a deer. More alien ships tried to land, but human fighters with rifles were waiting for them. Every ship that came to low was met with a hail of bullets. The aliens had never faced ground forces that could damage their aircraft with such simple weapons. Inside the city hall, the remaining aliens barricaded themselves behind their equipment. Cool, but the humans had learned from their earlier fights. They split into small groups and attacked from different directions. Teho led a team through the building's underground parking garage. They moved carefully, checking each corner for alien defenders. When they found them, the result was always the same. Bullets against shields. Bullets won. Second floor cleared. Min-soo reported over the radio. He was leading another team through the building's main levels. Third floor clear, called out Lee Kongmin, the young soldier. BR's radio began receiving new signals. Wait, she said suddenly. I am hearing something different. She listened carefully to the alien voices. Her face went pale. They are retreating. The main fleet is ordering all ground forces to return to the ships. This was the moment Tejo had been waiting for. The aliens were giving up. They were admitting defeat. All teams, this is Hey 1, came the voice from the airport. The aliens are running. Repeat, the aliens are abandoning their positions. Through the windows of the city hall, they could see alien ships rising into the sky. The ships moved quickly, like they were afraid of being shot down. Some of them were already damaged, trailing smoke and sparks, but the humans were not finished. Biora had taught them to use the aliens' own communication devices. They sent a simple message to the retreating fleet, repeated over and over in the alien language. Earth is protected. Do not return. The message was broadcast on all alien frequencies. Every ship in the fleet heard it. The humans wanted the aliens to know that their perfect shields had failed, that their advanced technology had been defeated. By bullets and determination, Admiral Kethmer sat in his command ship, listening to the impossible reports from the planet below. His ground forces had been destroyed by primitive weapons. The ships had been damaged by simple projectiles. An entire invasion fleet had been defeated by creatures using technology that was thousands of years old. He recorded a final message. To the Vorthok Empire, Earth is to be avoided at all costs. The inhabitants possess weapons that bypassed our defenses. Weapons so primitive that our sensors do not recognize them as threats. This planet is forbidden. As the alien fleet disappeared into space, the humans celebrated in the streets of Seoul. They had done the impossible. They had defeated an advanced alien civilization with bullets and courage. Tejo stood on the roof of the city hall, watching the last alien ship fade into the distance. In his hand was his police pistol, the weapon that had started it all. A simple 9mm handgun had brought down an Empire. Biora joined him on the roof. The galaxy will know what happened here, she said. Other species will learn that Earth cannot be conquered. Mrs. Cho climbed up from the lower floor, her rifle still smoking. Good, she said simply. Let them all know. Humans do not surrender. The war was over. Humanity had won with the oldest weapons in their arsenal. Sometimes the simplest solutions were the best solutions. Earth was safe, and the universe would never underestimate humanity again.